Hey everyone, this is Dave Pike, the MotorCity mechanic. I've got another topic for you today. It's going to be the top 4 reasons why you don't have good airflow coming out your dash vents. Alright, so here we go. One of the more common reasons, I want to go ahead and say number 1, is a problem with the blower motor itself. Now, the blower motor could be the problem, could be wiring, could be blower motor resistor, could be even the switch. Now, the best way to go ahead and check that is just turn it on one speed at a time, kind of listen, see if you hear the humming of the blower motor. As you turn to increase the speed, you should start hearing the motor ramp up as well. You also should feel something coming out the dash vents. Now, keep an eye if there is a problem and it's not the blower motor, you should still feel some air coming out. Now, it should increase slightly as you increase the speed. Just definitely, if you can hear that motor and hear the change in pitch, then we know for sure that the blower motor is working fine. Now, if it's not working fine, now that's a whole different scenario, and then you got to start checking, first of all, whether or not you've got power and ground at the blower motor. So that's a whole different thing you need to check into. Now, if everything seems to be working fine there, now there's the number 2 most common problems causing lack of airflow. Now, that's cabin air filter restriction. Now, a lot of vehicles have cabin air filters now, and most of the owners don't know they do. Now, the cabin air filter is on the inlet side of the box, meaning all the air goes through it first. So if it's clogged up, then everything else coming out is going to be lack of airflow out the vent. So definitely check to see if yours has a cabin air filter, and if it does, check to see what it looks like and if it needs to be replaced. If it doesn't, then you don't have to worry about that. Let me show you a short clip on a dirty one that I found not too long ago so you know what to look for. So here's your old one. Looks good on one side, but actually the air side that comes in from the outside, as you can see, it's just filthy. A lot of people forget they even have a cabin filter or don't even know it, better yet. So you definitely check from time to time, because that's actually going to help the airflow coming through the vent, so you'll get all you need. Otherwise you start getting a little blockage from this. This also helps stop some of the smell that comes through, a lot of the pollen, allergy, stuff like that. Very important. So if you got one, check into it and then replace it on a periodic basis. Number 3, another common cause is actually broken doors inside the AC box. For example, around 2007, the Dodge Rams had a problem with the recirc door breaking, and when it would break, it would fall and land on top of the opening where the blower motor was coming. Now, once it did that, lack of airflow. So you could have a broken door inside the box that's causing that as well. So checking that could be a little more difficult, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to have to hook up a scanner. Scanner actually communicates with the AC control head, and it can actually test those doors, and it wants to see where the positions, as far as where they stop from one direction to another during its calibration. And if there's a problem, it usually set a code. That's one way to find out if you got a broken door. Otherwise, you may end up having to pull the dash box and start checking one by one till you find it. Now, number 4 is kind of rare, but I've seen it multiple times now. Now, it mostly applies to people who live in dry, dusty areas. What you'll usually find is the dust that gets sucked in from the outside goes inside the AC box and starts sticking up against the side of the wet AC evaporator. And as it sticks up over a period of time, it starts creating like a wall of mud, so air won't start flowing through it. And once that happens, there's not much more you can do other than to take the box out and try to pressure wash that outside of the AC evaporator or replace it. Inside, you're not going to have much luck. Now, I have seen people let's put it this way, people that love their pets. People that love their pets, such as dogs. I've seen excessive dog hair get sucked up into the AC box and also cause that evaporator to get clogged up with dog hair. And I've also seen where stuff on the back of the glove box, such as receipts or pieces of paper, fall down, get sucked up into the AC box by the blower, it gets thrown up against the AC evaporator. So a restricted outside of the AC evaporator is your 4th most common problem. Recently, I had to replace one of those AC evaporators just for that reason. So go ahead and check out this clip. Alright, so this is actually what a good evaporator looks like. As you can see, it's real clean. You can actually see all the way through it. Airflow going across it's going to be great. What happens though is on a AC evaporator, the way it works is it will condensate and it will have moisture on it. Moisture drips down to the bottom of the AC box, goes out in the drain. That's why you see water on the ground. Now in dusty, dirty climates, what happens is, being that this is already wet, the dust and dirt still make its way into the box from the outside, gets blown across the evaporator. And what happens over a period of time is that moisture, that dust and dirt start accumulating and finally start clogging up the little orifice here that the air blows through, to finally get almost a solid sheet of mud and dirt. Like I said, this is what a new one looks like. Now, here's one that has had that problem. Now, they were complaining about the AC not cooling well. The AC was cooling fine. The problem was we didn't have a lot of airflow through. The reason for no good airflow is we've got a solid sheet of mud almost, so the air isn't coming through like it used to. But the only way I've ever seen to fix these is to clean them the best you can outside the vehicle. Customer opted to actually replace this one. So inside the box, you could try spraying some water if you can get to it. Most of the time you cannot. And then as thick as this stuff is, because I mean literally I have to scrape it off. It comes off in big pieces. To get all that out would be almost impossible, let alone to get it all through the orifice, because if you did start cleaning it, it'd start probably flowing through the little cutouts in here and then start blocking it up even more. Plus there's certain areas in that AC box that don't want water in there. So you only got the little area up under here that accumulates and drains out. Once you start blowing water through here, it gets further into the box, which isn't a good thing. So that's what happens in dusty, dirty areas. If there is no cabin filter for the vehicle, this is going to happen. Highly recommend running it on recirc. Don't run it on outside air the more you need to. That way you can keep it as clean as possible, because the only thing going through it will be the air inside the cabin. You're not actually getting air from outside blowing directly through it. Now there's going to be some accumulation, you can't help it, but when it gets to this bad, that's what I highly recommend doing. So there you go. The 4 most common causes that I've seen for a problem with the lack of airflow coming out the AC vents. There's a few things you can check yourself. There's a few things you may have to take to shop and have it done. And depending on what the repair is, it may be something you're willing to tackle. But if you're having to take the dash apart and take the AC box out, that's probably not something you want to be doing in your driveway unless you feel like you've got enough skills and tools to do it. That would probably have to go to a shop, but nonetheless. Any kind of thumbs up on YouTube. You can like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the video in the description, you'll find a link to both of those. In the meantime, thanks for watching.